Hey, this is Mark Pittman with fundraisingcoach.com. I tried to just do a Periscope, but the internet connection here in downtown Greenville is apparently a little too slow for my phone on my phone. So I thought I'd just record a quick video to say what I wanted to say on Periscope and just put it to YouTube instead. I sent out a fundraising kick email today that was asking, are you assuming too much of your donors? One of the things that many of us do when we're experts in some area or we know the routine is we forget to tell other people what that routine is. If we know the path to Maine, where I'm from, is a great example of this. When you move to a new community in Maine, often there are only half the street signs that you need, because the other half of them are in place, and the other half just it's assumed that you know that street is the street that it was 2 blocks down, even though you're at a different intersection. We do that with our donors in two significant ways. One is when they're new donors. We just assume that they know that we need either political support, people to advocate to local politicians for us or to the city council. We assume that they know that we want them to wear our stuff. If we have a t-shirt, we assume that we know that they should become a monthly donor. There's all these sorts of things that we assume that they know. Even we assume that they know that we're looking for an annual gift. I had one donor that made a one-time gift to a campaign, and I said, would you consider making that gift again in next November? And she was shocked. She had never even thought about the fact of making an annual gift, although that's our world in nonprofit fundraising, is annual gifts. So when you have a new donor come in, just review your communications. This is what I advise the fundraising kickers to do, is to review your communications. What's the process that you have set up for them? Do you thank them and acknowledge their gift, but then for certain dollar amounts, does the development director write a note, and then for higher dollar amounts, make a phone call, and then for higher dollar amounts, does the executive director or CEO write a note? For even higher amounts, does that executive director or CEO make a phone call, and then for even higher amounts, is it the board members, so on. But also, what's the next action you want your donors to take? Be explicit about it. Is it advocating to the city council, the state capitol, the national capitol about your cause? Is it wearing a t-shirt and taking a picture of them in it and posting it on social media? Is it whatever it is? Is it joining the monthly program? One of the things that we learned in the last month's Nonprofit Academy webinar with Katrina Van Huss on the psychology of the social science of donor recognition is that donors tend to respond better with only one recommendation. When you ask them to do one action, she was talking about peer-to-peer events where people signed up to be a captain of a team, and then they were said, now you need to get 10 members and raise $10,000. That rate was less effective at doing either raising the 10,000 or getting the 10 members than just a very simple, your next step is getting 10 members and leaving it at that. Or a very simple, congratulations for signing up as a team leader, your next step is to raise $10,000. When team leaders were suggested just one course of action, they were far more likely to do both. It's shocking to me, and it feels so scary and risky as a nonprofit person because we're afraid we may not get their attention again. So that's one thing. Just look at what's your onboarding for donors, whether they're new or repeat. The second thing is look at your board members. This is a repeated refrain of mine, but how are you recruiting your board members? Are you asking them to give a certain amount every year and to help get a certain amount, or to reach out to a certain number of their colleagues, friends, family to bring them to an event? What are your expectations, and are you communicating those? There's so often we lie to board members. We say it's going to be a lot of fun and you won't have to do a lot of work, and none of our organizations can afford that anymore. We need people that will take the effort to do the work on behalf of our cause. But then also there are a number of people, board members that have hired me as their one-on-one coach because they didn't realize fundraising was part of the gig. They joined the board and all of a sudden they're said, okay, you have to sell 10 gala tickets at $1,000 each. They didn't know that they had to do that. How do they go about doing that? And there's no training, there's no expectation of, or no process for that. It's just get it done. We can't do that to our board members. If we want them to help us, we have to make it ridiculously easy for them. So look at the way you're doing that. What's the next action you're asking with board members? Have you clearly stated that there's a gift amount, whether it's a specific dollar amount or just a participation gift? Have you clearly stated that there are going to be events where they're going to be expected to fill a table? Whatever your expectations are, just write them out on a piece of paper and then check to see that you're actually telling them that they're expected to do that. They can't read our minds. We really need to make it explicit for them. So there you go. That's what I was going to put on the Periscope. If the internet had been a little bit stronger, the connection here in Greenville, downtown Greenville, I got to go off to my next appointment. If you want more ideas like this on a weekly basis, you can sign up for Fundraising Kick. It's a quick email I put out for CEOs about nonprofits, and that's at fundraisingcoach.com/fundraisingkick. Until then, have fun fundraising.